All right, so thanks everyone for coming back. Today I'm going to talk about Shorty. What it is just a link shortener. It works as a Traefik middleware. I have a link to the official plugin store. You can actually go to it and search Shorty, and it pops up right there. And you can read through here. It has like a quick little summary on how to install it, but that's what we're going to go over in this video. You can do it standalone. It also works in Kubernetes. I have it tested out. I actually have mine working right here in my Kubernetes cluster. And how it works is you can just store these key value pair of links using either labels or like a CRD, custom resource definition. So let's get into it. First, I have this repository, which you can just use the official GitHub one. This GitLab one mirrors directly over to it. So I'm going to be pushing here, but it always updates over here. So let's begin. So you can clone it down. And it's just a simple shorty.go. It uses the standard library. Basically, it's going to take in the labels and it's going to look at all these links, whether it's labels or the Kubernetes resource. And it's going to take whatever is like after the path, after that /, and then it's going to look it up. And if that link exists, it's just going to redirect you there. If you use all, it's going to return all of them like I just showed. And if it doesn't exist, you'll get this nice little 404 not found. Boom. You'll get this link you're looking for doesn't exist, and you can go ahead and visit all your links here, as you can see what you have. And then let's say I want to go to GitLab, bam, takes me to my GitLab. So pretty cool. That's how it works. So let's get started. So, okay, so if you go into deployment demos, we're going to start doing the Docker Compose. So with the Docker Compose, you can open up this file. And I already have this network created, so I'm going to use it as it already exists. But if not, you can uncomment this out and use this one. Just make sure you comment that out. And then if you want to go ahead and set this up with certificates, you can kind of do this init container and use Alpine. All it does is just create a certs folder, which I bind in this TLS certs volume. And then it gives it the right permissions, and it just creates that acme.json file. And then this one will use it. You just want to make sure you uncomment this, so you have the depends on, and it'll do that init container, basically. And we're going to use Traefik 211. Doesn't really matter. You can use 210, 211, 3. It should all be fine. Here's a little secret if you want to add Portainer. Here's just a little bonus. You can add this as an extra host, and it'll allow you to route to your containers on the host network, like Portainer. And then you can open up whatever ports you want to use. Just for the demo, I'm just going to use 443, but use whichever ones you want. And then we're going to go ahead and attach this to that proxy network. And if you want to run this as a local plugin, like if you want to try to modify my code, update it, you can do that. You just have to change one of the flags, which I'll show in a moment. But this is not important if you don't need it. So I'll just do that and get rid of it for right now. And then you can set these if you want to go ahead and get certificates automated through Cloudflare. I have it set up really easy. And what I'm doing differently is also using flags instead of a file, because I just feel like this is a lot easier to manage. On the fly, I can just reuse these commands or just edit them. I don't have to worry about like copying a file in. I can just use the container. So I have everything configured. If you want to use Cloudflare certs, bam, right there. Also, I have these ports set up. If you don't want to automatically redirect web to web secure or 80 to 443 or HTTP to HTTPS, comment that out. But I'm going to keep it on. Oops. And then I also added like some extra things, like for metrics, I like to have this extra entry point or this extra, service entry point there for it. And then I also enabled the Prometheus metrics. That's really unimportant. You don't have to have that if you don't want to. And then right here is where you can control the log format and the log level. So if you want to set that to debug, like while you're trying to get this figured out, you totally can. Or you can just set it to error if you just want to see errors. Same thing with tracing. I have it turned off, but you can turn that on. And then this is where the magic happens. So if you want to use my official plugin right here, you just set the name to that and then the version to here. So module name and version. But if you wanted to use the local one, because you're doing some local development, you would comment that out and use this one. And then make sure you copy in this folder because it needs to find this shorty.go, gomod, and traefik.yaml. So if it can't find those, it won't work. But we're going to go ahead and use the official one. So let's comment this out. And then, so here's the labels. So for like localhost, we're going to just test it out locally so anyone can do this. So if you want to access the Traefik dashboard, that's how you're going to access it. Just traefik.localhost. There's no security setup, no password. You'll just be able to do it. And then here's the Shorty router. So this is where you would set like your domain name that you have. So we'll use shorty.localhost. It is hard to find a short domain name. So good luck if you want to use one with public certificates. If not, you're probably going to have to use some private one. Figure that out. But you can also, just like Traefik, just use it just like normal. Add the cert resolvers. You can add any additional middleware. And what I do is I just send it to this ping internal. So as long as Traefik's up, this should be available. And if anything, it's just going to send back a status 200 or like an OK message. So that's how that works. And then for the middleware, I just add my Shorty middleware that I make, which I'm going to make right here. So down here, we're going to add our links and create that middleware. So you do Traefik, HTTP middlewares, and then the name of it. This can be anything, but it needs to match up here. So I just did my Shorty just to show that makes sense. And then you do plugin, the name of the plugin, which is Shorty, and then links. And then how it works is these are just like a key value pair. So if I do /GitLab, it'll go to gitlab.com. If I do GL, it'll go to gitlab.com. Vice versa. So that's how you can add a new one. So like right here, let's say demo, and we'll take this to like my blog. Here, we'll change this to blog. Boom. So this link should exist, and that's just where I would add any additional links right in here. So let's CD into this deployment demo, Docker Compose. So here's that Docker Compose file. So I'm going to say up so we can see the command line. So there we go. So it loaded the configuration from flags. And then let's go to shorty.localhost. We don't have certificates, so just go ahead and ignore that. And then it's going to say, oh, there's nothing at the root, which is totally fine. Let's go to all. So now we can actually see all those links, and here's the blog that we made. So if we go to blog, boom, takes us right there. So that is kind of it for the Docker demo. So I'm going to show you how we can update that in Kubernetes. So what I did is did it with Argo CD. You can use whatever you want. Everything will apply. The only thing that's going to change is just how you apply all the files and how you Helm install Traefik. So for this one, I'm just going to go through the full Argo deployment. So the first thing that we need to do is create a GitHub repository. So I actually have a project that I can show. Yes, right here. So this is my Argo project. Okay, so I have a vault. This is where I can store my secrets. Ansible will encrypt them for like tokens and stuff, so I can like temporarily apply things. But let's go ahead and look how I have this set up. So I make a folder called Argo Sync. And so you can see right here, I have this Shorty sync. So this is going to sync up everything in apps Shorty. So in this file, apps Shorty is going to apply all of this. So that's kind of how Argo CD works. So Okay, so that's what I have here. So the application manifest that's what that's going to do. It's going to basically sync this up to your GitHub or your Git repository and then say, okay, here's the path on the master branch. I'm going to apply all the YAML in there and create like an app for it. Which, I guess I can show you what that looks like. So let me pull, go to my Argo CD. Boom. So here's my Argo CD. And then here's that Shorty sync right here. So this applied all that YAML. I can refresh it. It's going to check, okay, there's no changes, so it's not going to apply anything. And this will just refresh and keep my app open and running. Also, okay, so that's Argo CD, so we can get that out of the way. Let's get back here. So that's just kind of what you're going to have to manually apply this file. So I'll say like kubectl apply -f. It'll apply this file, and then Argo CD will handle syncing it, and then I would just make git changes. And then so the first thing we're going to need to create, if it doesn't exist, is Traefik, which in here I just called it the Shorty system. So I'm going to assume you're just deploying a Traefik just for this. You don't already have one that exists. So I'm going to set that up here. This is going to Helm install Traefik, and it's also going to use the values YAML at apps shorty values YAML. So this one right here. So that's going to be the only difference is how we use Argo versus just Helm install. The other way is you would literally just, I think Helm install. So you would do like, I have a little guide here for Helm repo add Traefik, update it, and then you would install this using this values YAML file. So pretty much the same exact thing. And then I made it easy. You can just kubectl apply these resources, and then it would just apply all of them. And you would adjust these to match what you need. So if you want to do the Helm one, you can go ahead and walk through that. It's going to be the exact same. Only difference is how we apply. So with this one, let's go through the Traefik of what you need to keep updated for Traefik to work. So first things first is you need to, in the additional arguments of your values YAML, you need to add these to deploy the version that you want. We'll say like version 1. This is the most recent one. And then also right here in deployment, you need to add additional volumes. And then you need to add additional volume mounts. And then same thing, plugins, plugin storage. If you don't do this, it's basically going to say, oh, we're trying to install the plugin, but it's a read-only file system. And it's going to say the plugins are all disabled. It's not working. So that is completely essential. These three things are exactly what you need. And then your Ingress class is right here. I set it to Shorty, but it could be Traefik, Traefik internal, whatever you have this. That's just all you need to know for making your Ingress route. Other than that, it should be good. Oh, also, allow external name services should be true. So that in your Kubernetes CRD needs to be true. Otherwise, these won't work. So make sure that's true. And then, yeah, that should be good to go. So this will install Traefik. And then also if you're installing it, this is where you would change that IP address. So if you're using MetalLB, just make sure this is going to be an available IP address. But if you already have Traefik installed, like I said, you just need to make sure these are updated. Also with this external name services being true. So completely the same. So when we apply this, Argo CD will go ahead and install this, which I can show you. It creates this. Oh, I don't have it in mind. It'll create a Shorty system, and it'll deploy that just for the Traefik underneath. So that is how that works. And then if you can use this as like a template too to deploy other Helm repo or Helm install kind of things like that through Argo CD. This is how you kind of reference the values YAML and can do that. It's kind of weird, but you can use this as like a template to do other ones. And then so another thing we're going to do is with Cert Manager, I'm going to assume you have that installed, and we're going to use Cert Manager to talk to Cloudflare and let's encrypt and get certificates for our domain name. So to do that, you need to create a Cloudflare token. So go set up your domain in there, create token that has DNS edit privileges on the domain. And then you'll just set that token right here and then apply the secret. And then after that, we'll do the staging and production cluster issuers. So basically set your email you're going to use, and then this will use that token for the password, and then you just set your domain name. And that's going to be the same in production and staging. So should be totally fine with that. And then we need to set up the certificates. So you just, once again, you're going to change this to use your domain name. You can also change the name of it to match if you want. But yeah, just make sure you update all those for the cert and the staging certificate. And then the last thing we make is the ingress. Well, second to last thing. And then you just make sure this matches your Traefik ingress class so it can pick it up. And then this will be your host name. And then you're going to use this links middleware that we're going to make. And we're just going to send it to the ping internal. So that way it just sends it to some kind of dummy backend. And then if you are deploying this standalone, you can enable this to enable the dashboard, and then you can add additional middleware to it if you want to secure that. And then you can switch here back and forth between the staging certificate and the production certificate. And then the last thing is just the links. So now you can add your links this way. So you could add blog, boom. So that's how you would add new links like that, and this will pick them up and apply them. So now we're going to assume you're going to apply those, and then Argo CD should pick it up. And I have Traefik running already, so I can actually show you how I modified my code. So over here, I made an app for Shorty. So this basically just creates the certificates, the ingress, and the links. And then you can see I have this commented out because I didn't need it. But I like to just save these as like a template in case I want to do it later. So I just left that there. And then I'm going to go to core, my Traefik. So in the values YAML, I see I added my plugin I wanted to use. Here's the additional volumes. Here's that. My CRD enables external name services. So I just updated that, and then I use Traefik as my ingress class. So if I go back over here to Shorty and look at the ingress, you'll see it matches Traefik. So then what's cool here, so what I'll do is I'm going to add a new link to mine. So we're going to add a demo link, and it'll just send us to google.com. So I'm going to say git status. Okay, so you can see I modified links. So I'm going to say git add dot add demo link. And then I'm going to push that. And then here we're going to look at Shorty. And then so it says the last one was 4 hours ago. So when I refresh this, it's going to say it's out of sync. And then now it's syncing. And it did. Here's that new comment. It added a demo link. So if I go here to all, here's that demo. Boom. And that takes me to Google. So pretty cool. That is my plugin. Feel free to add it to your Traefik, add it to standalone, Kubernetes, whatever. Let me know if you guys use it, if you have fun with it. I got kind of lucky and I was able to find orty.sh, which I thought was kind of cool. It kind of fits the Shorty name. But let me know if you guys have fun with it, if you have any trouble. It was a pain to get working, but it's totally working now. So let me know how you guys like it, what you think. Thanks everyone. Bye.